Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all tuned in to Talent. Y'all already know Talent stands for Take a Look Inside Truth. Man, I got a guest here with us today that I am excited for y'all to meet and for her to be able to tell her testimony and let y'all into her journey like this. Like, just stay tuned. Just stay tuned. You already know I'm your host, KG Lavancy. I got my co-host,
Hey.
Cindy, and I got Bay, the star of the show here. It ain't us, it's her. You know what I'm saying? So listen closely. Hey, sometimes she talk fast, so she ain't talking fast. She listening slow. So you know what I'm saying? So look, bear with us, cause it's worth hearing. You know what I'm saying? We about to get some wisdom. All right. So, Bay, please take over the show.
So, start. I'm just gonna go back from to start from the bottom on up, right?
Start from the bottom.
So, I was raised in a family of four. My mother was single parent, came here from Arkansas straight to San Diego, and a couple of years after that, my mother had a baby, and it affected it affected me because I was the baby. So I remember distinctly asking my mom one day. I said, "Mom, are you gonna am I always be your baby?" And she said, "Yeah, you can always be my baby." And next thing I know, I heard on the phone saying, "Oh, the baby due next month." After that, it went all bad. I was 5 years old. Um, just became real rebellious, seeking attention, um, feeling rejected, feeling abandoned. And I believe now that I know, with the coping skills I have, I know that it was all in my head. But for the most part, at that time as a child, I just felt abandoned and neglected and all that. So, um, fast forward a little bit, my cousin started molesting me. Wasn't cool with it, didn't really understand what was going on, but just the attention. I needed the attention, and I liked the attention, not of what he was doing to me, but the fact that somebody wanted me around. And so from there,
Oh, wait,
uh,
wait, hold on. We ain't about
what?
to speed past that.
Okay, hold on.
Hold on. No.
Yes.
So, in your home, okay, I know you said you was five, okay. It's like that only child syndrome.
Yes.
And then somebody else come in here. You want me to think she all cute or he.
Right.
I don't think that. What you doing here? Go back. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yes.
And then, so the usual, the kids wanted more attention because
Yes.
probably the baby getting the attention now. You know what I'm saying? Not in a bad way, but it just
Right.
happens. And then you said your cousin started molesting you.
Right.
Kind of keep me there, like when it started. Like, how did that happen?
So I was 8 years old, and everyone would go to school. Everybody would go to school, but I did as well. But I would come home early because my school let out earlier than theirs. And so instead of staying in the house, I would go to my cousin's house, to my aunt's house, and my cousin was there. So he would start touching me. He started out. He didn't start out like that. He started out kind of grooming me with playing with the little baseball cards. Flipping quarters against the wall, that kind of thing. And then eventually it led to him trying to, taking me to his room, taking me to his room and molesting me. The only thing that didn't happen was he could not penetrate me because I was obviously, he was 16, I was 8. And I don't really know why, I just know that he couldn't. But he did molest me, and I didn't even know I got molested because my mother always said, anybody will touch, she said, be careful with people touching you, like anybody from a stranger to an uncle. She didn't say cousin. So I didn't even realize, I didn't understand, it didn't
Damn.
dawn on me that it was, molestation because it was my cousin. She meant anything from, but as a kid,
So
you receive
wait,
that.
so when you say okay, so you would go home sometimes. You said home, so he
Yeah.
lived in your
Yeah.
house.
They stayed we stayed in apartments. I grew up in some apartments
But
in
okay,
Salola. They stayed in their apartments. We stayed in ours. So when I would come home from school, I didn't want to stay in the house by myself, so I would go to my auntie's apartment. That's where my
okay,
cousin stayed at. It was his
okay,
mom,
okay,
my mother's twin sister's son.
okay. And then when this happened, like you said, like you wasn't sure because she didn't specify cousin,
No,
so you
she
like, oh, it
didn't.
ain't cousin,
She
but
said
like,
anything from an uncle to a stranger to an uncle. She didn't say cousin. So when he was touching me, I didn't know anything was wrong with it.
so he never penetrated you, but he felt
No.
on you and
And he was
all,
on top of me trying to penetrate me, but it didn't happen.
and you didn't tell nobody.
No. And the only reason why I found out somebody was not okay with that was because, so I was 8 years old. Now at 15, I had to fast forward because at 15 I'm watching Oprah Winfrey, and same thing, identical. What happened to me was happening to another girl. Her cousin was touching her, and I remember my mother being in the kitchen frying chicken, and I was sitting there watching TV, and I said, the lady said that girl was molested by her cousin, and they were telling the whole story. And so I remember saying to myself, I was molested. Now I had a word for that. I had a word for this what he did to me. So I remember saying out loud, not loud for her to hear me, but I said, I was molested. I wanted to hear it. And I said, and my mother said, Red, did you just say something? She called me Red. They called me Red and Bay. And so I said, no, Mom, but I said it again. I said, I was molested. I remember saying it because I needed to hear that because I didn't have a name for that, what happened to me. So after that, that's when it went all bad. Joined the gang. I realized now that I had been molested and I was angry that nobody noticed, that nobody even noticed. And so joined the gang, just joined the gang trying to get comfort and, not comfort, excuse me, like love.
Yeah.
I wanted love. You know, I wanted love and to feel belonged, and I wanted to belong to something. And it was a lot of love in this certain particular game that I chose. This game that I chose, it was love in that. And everybody, it was, we used to say "Jah love" because everybody just showed a lot of love to each other. And so, yeah, it was love, it was protection. You know,
So at
and
this
a sense
time
of
you were
belonging.
staying where?
In Salon, in San Diego.
San Diego. So you from San Diego. Okay. And okay, so you said you joined the gang. You how old?
I was, at that time, I was 15. Well, I was 12 actually. When I started the gang, I was 12 years old. Like 11 going on 12 because I was in 6th grade. I
And
remember.
if you don't mind, what was it?
The gang?
Yeah,
It was Lincoln Park.
Lincoln Park.
Lincoln Park Bloods.
Okay, Lincoln Park Blues. Okay, and so like now you at this time to where that happened in the household. Now you didn't came to the point to where you was. Now you were aware of, you know, like you was able to identify
Right.
exactly like what that was, and you know, saying it build up some type of like anger, like you said, like nobody even noticed, and I was going through this,
Yeah.
you know. So at this time, it had stopped.
So now I'm having resentment for my mom. She doesn't know that. Now I'm stealing like candy and stuff out of the stores, ditching school, smoking weed. We drinking blood juice. We got Thunderbird with Kool-Aid. Nasty. Ugh. But we was drinking and smoking and ditching school and just acting out in school. And then I went to juvenile hall for the first time when I was 15 years old. I stole some footies out of Nordstrom's. And I went to juvenile hall. After that, I was just in and out of group homes. They sent me to my father in Arkansas. That didn't work out. Sent me back to my mom. Then I ended up going back to juvenile hall. So it was the big thing of going in and out of juvenile hall and group homes. And then I aged out the system at 18 years old. I was 89 days before my 18th birthday, and I aged out.
What year was that?
It's called aged out. It was in 1991.
Wow, 1991.
I'm sorry, it was 1990, and then 1991. 89 days later, I ended up in prison.
You turned 18.
Turned 18, and
And you went where?
after what?
When you went to prison, where was that? Because back then, that was what?
So in 91, I committed a robbery. I thought I was going on a robbery, and the people I went with, the older guy ended up shooting somebody, so they gave us all murder, and they gave us three of us going to say all three of us doing a robbery, and I commit the murder. We all at the time it was called felony murder. Well, now it's the felony murder rule. So if all three of us do a robbery and I kill someone, you guys are getting charged with it too. That's what happened to me, and they offered me full immunity and witness protection. I wouldn't tell. For many reasons. One was because I was a gangbanger and I just didn't think it was cool to tell on nobody, to snitch. And two, because I was kind of a little bit afraid that something would happen to my mom and them, but mainly just because it just was no rat blood in me. And that's how I felt at
So
the time.
you basically did time for something you didn't do.
I did 34 years for a robbery. I was charged with first-degree murder, robbery, and assault. So everything the older guy did, they charged me with it.
Dang. And the
So-
system was way different back then.
Yeah.
Like they could do what they wanted.
Yeah. Back then, that's what it was. It was called the felony murder rule. Like if one person do something, everybody in charge with it. So, and if they do offer you a deal though. They offered me a deal. They offered my co-defendant a deal too, and he took it. The younger one, the older one, he was the trigger man, so he didn't have nothing coming. But the younger one that I volunteered to go on this robbery with, he turned state evidence on everybody. So,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't. So.
Okay. So now, okay, at this point, you said you was in prison, right? Okay. So you had already You said aged out the system, aged out, so man, you in prison or whatever. So
I
like,
get to the county. One second. I get to the county, and the man tell me my attorney has offered me a speedy trial. I said yeah because I just wanted to get back out there because I was in high school, so I wanted to get back out there and graduate real quick. So my mind is in, and so he said you want a speedy trial, and I was like yeah. So I got there November 1st of '91. I was in prison May 2nd of '92. So 6 months later, I was in prison.
okay, so that turnaround happened quick,
Yeah.
like for you, and then like, so I mean, the person I know today is not that person back then. So I want you to kind of like give me like the transition of everything to like what how you were back then, and then what just clicked for you one day and made you decide to make that transformation. Like, I'm done. Like, I want to give my life to God.
Well, before I gave my life to God, well, when I first came to the county, I was mad at God because I just didn't understand how He allowed me to get a life sentence for something I didn't do, first of all. And I always went to church and all that, but I didn't have this relationship I have now. So back then, I was angry with God. He said He wouldn't give us more than we could bear. That's what the Bible says in 1 Corinthians 10:13. And so I took that one part and, just didn't understand why He allowed me to get this life sentence. So I immediately thought, though, I went into survival mode. I had to recreate myself and turn into, and I didn't know anyone that had been to prison, but my mom was the strongest person I knew. So I knew that I had to turn into her. So I recreated myself, I turned into my mom, snatched a couple other people's low identities. I seen some strength in them, like in the county people I had interacted with, and I just recreated myself. I turned into this a real hardcore person. Like I was unapproachable. But you know what? I'm sorry. Let me take this back just a second. So I was bullied when I was little too. I missed that part. I went from 8 to 15. But at the age of 10, I was bullied by this girl named Peaches. She used to come to my house every day, knocking on my door like 3 times a week at least, knocking on my door, pulling me out, and windmilling me to death. Right. So, so my mother one day was doing the curtains up there, and she said, "Hey, that girl come to my house one more time, your own house, and whoop your ass, and I'm gonna whoop it and send you back out there." So I was more afraid of my mom with these extension cords. She was trying to bring it to play and all that. So she was whooping us with extension cords and all that. So I went out there. Well, my brother said, "Hey, Punk, you better watch WWF." So I watched WWF for like 3 days. I was watching Jake the Snake Roberts, Hulk Hogan, do their thing. So by the time she came to the door that next time, she didn't even get the knock. I opened up the door, clotheslined her, DDT'd her, almost took her. It was just horrible. So anyway. So I beat the bully up. So now everybody's like, oh, I became a predator. I was like seeking bullies. So I was like, I preyed on other bullies, and I was trying to help the underdogs. So I would ask my little sister, anybody bothering you and your friends? She'd be like, yeah. So I go tell them, hey, after school. So I became a bully. So bam, fast forward, now I'm in prison, and with recreating myself to be my mom and snatching other people's identities, I looked for the bully. I knew that I needed to come in, and I needed to lay my foundation and let everybody know what time it was. Because when I came, they said, where do you want your remains sent? And so I was like, what, in R&R? And I was like, what? They said, where do you want your remains sent? And I was like, I don't know, shoot my, SHIT to the pad, to my mom's. Why y'all ask me that? I didn't understand. In other words, they were telling me I was going to die there. So with that was a whole nother attitude I had. Like, oh, I'm going to die. And I was telling him again, I'm mad at God. Like, so you giving me life? Okay, I got life, so we're going to do life. So that was my attitude. Like, we're going to do life. So bam, now here I go. I come to prison. And I said, hey, who's running this place? And they said, a girl named Money. So I let that go. When asked somebody else, I said, hey, where Money at? I'm looking for her. I was like, acting like I was cool. They said, that's her right there. So I snuck through the program office, went over there and just scrapped her and beat her up. So when I beat up Money, because I had hands. So when I beat up Money, everybody was like, oh, who is this? They was tripping. So that's how I set off my whole. So every day I made it a point to rack up, I made it a goal to rack up 115s. I got up to like 600 points. Well, my first 4 years there, I got 398, just going crazy, scrapping. Back then, you could slap a cop, and as long as you didn't clench your fist. So I used to just go slap police. I didn't like police because they arrested me, took me from my mom, or so I felt.
Straight up.
But they took me from my mom. So, I just targeted the cops. And I would slap them up, and then inmates was getting in my business mad because they had to get down on the ground. So when I go to jail, I come out, I get whoever I saw talking crazy, just go straight for them. So people started thinking I was crazy. And that's what I wanted. I wanted them to think I was crazy, think I was like, let them know I had hands so that we can just nip that in the bud and I didn't have to be in fear because I was scared. I was really scared. I was a child. I had never been away from my mom. I had never been away from my mom. So the whole thing was a facade. It was a front. I was just fronting and just trying to survive. And it became a survival thing for me for the next 20 years. Because when I met you, it was, I had only been, let me see. My first 20 years, about 19 when I met you, KG. So the first 20 years, I did what I wanted to do. And then I'll get to the next 15 after that. When I got saved, the whole game changed. But for the first 15, that's just what it was. People stare at you, especially people from LA. Not to say it, but people from LA, they stare at you because that means something. Yeah. Like if you break the stare, that means you're a punk. So I was known for giving out OG black eyes. If you stare at me, I hit you right here in between, and just give you 2 OG black eyes. And so people years later would say, hey, my friend, remember you had black my friend's eyes? She thought you was pretty. That's why we were looking at you. And I just felt so bad. This after I say, but but at that point it was like, well, don't stare at me.
But like you said though, you had become somebody who was unapproachable. Yeah. So it was like, what I'm saying, do what you do, ask questions last. I ain't got time for that. If I think it, that's what we're going off of. And it was crazy because the person that I met, I don't even know how, but like you said, I met the good side of you. Like we just clicked. Yeah. Like I never had a problem with you. Like we always been good since day one. And I know solid when I see it, like because and you telling me that, but then I'm looking like her. You remind me of my peoples. And I know when I see somebody and you hear people's reputation, you hear who's who, what's what, and then when you get to see it, you like, she seemed cool. I gravitated to you, you gravitated to me, and it was good.
We instantly clicked. And the minute I got out of SHU, I had just got out of SHU from doing 4 years when I met you. You didn't know that. But I just did 4. So I had been in and out for 20 years. I did 8.5 flat one time on I think an indeterminate DRB or something like that they put on me, but I actually did it, but I'm just saying they threw that DRB stuff in the process. It's Directors Review Board. Yeah, they put you in there and just leave you back there. And so, when I met you, I had just got out of SHU for a girl had put a dildo on me. Excuse my language, but that's what it was. That's what I called it. I was going to dry her. She brushed up on me with it, and I burnt her, stabbed her. Sorry.
Not they said.
Yeah, they said, but I had burnt her, stabbed her, and they gave me 4 years for that. Dang. I got out too. I did good behavior. When I met you, I had just got out on good behavior. I think I did a few years or something like that, a couple of years on that. And then I got out, and I just hand y'all all my stuff, you and your friends, and you guys watch my stuff for me, and I knew I could trust you. And you was just solid from day one, so that was that. Then, like, a little while later after that, one day, I think, because I used to smoke and stuff like that too, and smoke with everybody, and then just went to church one day, and the whole game changed. I was actually on my way I didn't just go to church. I was on my way to go to church to hear the word. It was Easter Sunday, and Green Eyes was taking all her little girlfriends to church, and the one they call Grandpa Green. Yeah. And so Grandpa Green was taking all her girlfriends to church, and I rolled with them. And so I went to church anyways, though. Even though I was in my lifestyle, though, I have to say this, I have to back up, because even though I was doing all that we was doing, or whatever, when we were all how we were, I still took time to go to church. I woke up every morning to read my word, because my mother told me, and she raised me, that God was Jireh, that he was a provider. So he always provided for me. I never went without for the 34 years. And then also, too, she told me to always put him first. So I put God first. So that's one thing I did. I would get up in the morning, even though that night I rolled my weed, bagged up my drink and all this. I know it sounds all, kind of contradicting or whatever, but I rolled up my weed, put my little drink, because I used to brew too. I wasn't really a drinker though, but I used to just have that for everybody, whatever they wanted, the drink and the weed. And then, so that would happen at night. In the morning, I get up, read my word. So I put him first, and to do him first, and then I do me. And that's what brought me back around full circle, because I kept him in everything I did. And so, today, though, I've been clean 15 years. Not today, excuse me, but April 16th. I made 15 years I've been clean off weed, but everything. I never did anything but weed. Not minimizing or nothing like that, but I've been clean off that, and everything else I gave up. But at that time, that's just what I knew, was to do God first, and then I did me. And so by that time speeding it up to the time I went to church. I was on my way to get some Charlie Sheen weed. They had this new weed out called Charlie Sheen because he had just got diagnosed with AIDS or something like that. So they came up with this Charlie Sheen weed. So I'm on my way to go to church, killing two birds with one stone. I was going to go to church, hear the word real quick, and then go get this weed because the girl was coming up out the visit. And that's how the transformation came. But I had told my roommate prior to that, I had some weed, and I said, you want to smoke this that night? She said, no, let's save it for tomorrow. It's Easter. I said, no, I'm going to have some weed tomorrow. She kept saying, I said, girl, I'm liable to go to church and get saved tomorrow. Let's smoke this joint. So she was like, all right. I said, okay, you know what? All right. I'm not. So I told her, okay, we can keep the weed, whatever. And I went to church. Wasn't planning on getting saved, though. I was just going to go hear the word, like I said, real quick, and then bam. And went in there, and the dude said, today is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So I was like, come on, I need to hear what I need to hear so we can get up out of here and go get this weed. So he kept saying it, though, and he started looking at me. So my friend that was next to me, she said, he's looking at you. I said, girl, he looking at you. She said, he looking at you. And he said, why you keep putting God on hold? And I was. I kept telling God, when this girl leaves, I used to be gay too. I was like, when this girl leave, I'm going to be done. Or when I smoke this last joint, I'm done. You know, that kind of thing, the kind of thing playing with him. And so that particular, he's coming down the aisle now, and he's saying, why you keep putting God on hold? He never put you on hold. And then he said, so she bumped me, said, let's go down there. And I said, you do that every week. No. I was like, I'm not doing that. I said, no. When I'm ready and I'm done, So he's coming down, and he's looking dead at me, and I know he's looking at me. He said, give your life to the Lord today. So, and it was a command. And I was just like, is he talking? And then I just got up. I didn't say nothing else. I got up, went down there, and from that point on, it's just the whole game changed. I can't stand weed, because weed used to make my mouth water. Purple cushion, all that, I can't stand weed. That whatever that stuff is they were smoking up in there, spice or whatever, I don't know what that was, but I can't stand weed. God took that from me. I surrendered homosexuality, and that's when I came back out. And then I seen y'all again, and then it just happened. And then from that point on, we made it across the street, and then the journey just kept on, it just kept going. Me and him just rolling to the hard way the whole time. So,
I want to know about because y'all so similar, you and Groovy. Y'all so similar. So I do want to know. You said it was a time that I introduced y'all.
So you were so excited. The prison got shut down. They kicked us all out. And we didn't believe we were going up until the last minute. Dawson Davis, the ex-warden, she was like, y'all better pack y'all stuff. They kicking me out. So everybody got kicked out. We all got kicked out. I think you went before me. I know you did, because I was the last one. And I was the last one because they were building Hard to House across the street. This building on AR called Hard to House. And I was one of them. It was me and a few friends. All of them passed away now. Ned Carter, Lordiana Fiennes, all of them died. But they were building it for us. Oh, and Green Eyes, Gingy Teague, and Brown Sugar, and all of us, just the little screw-ups. So they was building this whole building for us. So they had us in Aztec. They had us across the street waiting. So the men had already came. They kicked all the women out. They had the men there still, but we were on another yard, on D yard. And we broke down to like one unit, D3 or something like that. And so we're all sitting there, and we waiting to go. Everybody else done got shipped to CIW, and they're where they was going. And so they finally take us across the street, put us all in Aztec. And so we're waiting to get out. I ended up getting out because some girls was calling enemy on all of us. So I ended up getting out of there because I had the counselor go tell the lady was she scared of me. And it was Miss Ripple, and she was like, I'm not scared of her. I'll whoop, 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 and threatened me. So they brought her back there and gave me the opportunity to get out and to let her out if I wanted to, and I did, of course. But so I get to the main yard now, and that's when I see you. I come up and how did those units go? 508? Yeah. So we were in I think 507 or something like that. Whatever unit I was in, I went to the unit with you, and you introduced me to your sister in the laundry room. You were so excited. You was like, oh my gosh, babe, you here? We hugged, we went all crazy and everything. And then you took me in the laundry room, like, sis, this is my friend, Bae. And she was just hard. She looked at me like, and so I'm going up to her. I'm thinking, we hug, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, we folks, because we don't just introduce each other to anybody. Yeah. So what you introduced me to her, I'm knowing she got to be cool like you. But she was just like hardcore, just standing there looking like, what's up? So I was like, oh, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Now I got an attitude, but I had to keep my cool because it's your folks, So that's how I met Groovy. But today, though, man, Groovy that's my family. You left me in good hands. Yeah. You did. You left me in good hands. That's my people.
I know.
Yeah.
So like during like the end like your time. Like I want to know like some interactions like you had with God, some encounters, like the real deep ones to where, like, you know, changing over is not easy,
No.
and then the everyday walk within that,
Yeah.
and the you know, you got to give out some of
Yes.
that emotion, some of that trauma, some of that. Like I want you to take me, you know, a little through that.
So I'll take you back. So the girl that said, let's smoke this joint now or whatever, unless she wanted to smoke later on, I said, let's do it now. That was the room I was in. So when I moved into that room, right before I got saved, I'm going to take you to the part where I got saved, but right before I got saved, I walked into this room and I said, do anybody here get high? And they said, yeah. They didn't know what I had or nothing. They didn't care. So I was like, here, man, roll it. It was some weed. I don't do nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So I let them roll the weed. So that same room that I went into and we started smoking and all that, and they just, you know, fell into pursuit of whatever I wanted to do. The same room when I came back from church that day, they I think they followed me to church though, because they was thinking there got to be some weed over there, because I was a straight bud head. You know what I'm saying? I was never gonna stop smoking. I was gonna smoke until I dropped, because that was what numbed me. That made me feel powerful, beautiful, sexy. You know, I was just on when I smoked weed. So they followed me, I think, to church. They probably thought it was something over there, but they got over there and the whole room got saved. So he saved the whole room I was in. And so now we all rolling with the Lord. And so 3 months we rolling, like I'm telling you, just everybody. I'm doing Bible study. I actually got hit, because when you surrender, like, okay, so I surrendered totally. I just totally surrendered. And so I started getting attacked, like physically. I was one day teaching the Bible to them. I was standing up in the middle of the floor. I never forget it. And something just hit me in my head. And I said, did somebody just throw something at me? And I know I got punched, because things happen like that. In the spirit realm, you have to know. And you have to cross over in order to understand that there are demons, that they are real, and you can't get attacked. And so I was getting attacked like that. But the biggest attack for me was a challenge. I had a challenge. I had never had a cell phone, never even used them. I didn't trip off that kind of stuff. So one day, Laverne, my friend Laverne, she's a minister now, Laverne Anderson.
What?
Yeah, she's a minister now. I joined her church, actually. She in Long Beach, and I stay on the phone with her all day long and go see her and all that. Anyway, Laverne, Laverne told me, she said, listen, wait, let me see, hold on 1 second, I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought for 1 second, because it's about Laverne. Laverne gave April, which was the link to me, because April remember, that was my best friend.
Yeah.
So she got in through Laverne, through April. I came back from church one day. I've been at church all day. And April said, Laverne left something on the side of your bed. And I said, what is it? She was like, I don't know, it's a phone or something. I was like, a phone? I went over there, I said, oh, I'm calling my mama. Now I've been rolling with the Lord for 3 months straight. Me and him all day long, nothing, extracurricular activities, nothing. And then the phone was over there. So that was my first challenge. So I pick up the phone, and I'm trying to make myself be okay with this. Like, I'm calling my mom and doing Bible study on the phone, saying it's okay to use the phone, but it wasn't. So I'm in this phone. The girls that got saved is going to church with me. They all using the phone. They dudes calling them. I call my ex-boyfriend, all this. Right now we getting caught up with this phone. But we still going to church, still doing our Bible study, but we on this phone now. And so all of a sudden, I go to Women's Aglow one night, and the woman, her name is Jules. She was at Women's Aglow, and I'm in touch with her right now. We do a prayer line every morning from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. and 6:30 to 7:30, excuse me. Anyway, Jules, I walked into the church, and Jules said, some of us use the phone too much. Out of nowhere, we've been on this phone for all these months now, me and my roommates, and I walk into church, and that was her sermon. She said, some of us use the phone too much. So I'm like, why would she say that? Because I got this phone in this room, and I'm rolling with God, and you can't do that. It's either all in or out. It's either all in or all out. Got to choose up. And so she said that. And so when she's going on and on about this phone throughout this whole service, when service is over, I'm trying to dart out the door. She said, excuse me, you. And I said, yeah. She said, I have a word from you from the Lord. And I already knew. And she said, before she can say the Lord, I knew it was the Lord. She said, I have a word from you from the Lord. And I said, yes, ma'am. She said, whatever you're doing, you need to stop. She said, the Lord said that he's about to restore to you every day that the devil stole from you. But he can't work with that. What you're doing, you need to stop that, because you need to touch nothing unclean. And so I said, okay, ma'am, thank you. And I knew already. I went right into him. I said, hey, get rid of that. And they was like, well, my man for the call. I said, I don't care who calling here. Get rid of that phone. So they got rid of the phone. We got rid of the phone and everything. And that was the first thing. Another challenge was my anger because, I had an anger problem. And, I didn't feel like I had completely messed up, but I did. I slapped this girl up like 17 times because she tried to get high in our room, and we had told her not to, and her woman came to fight us and all sorts of stupid stuff. So anyway, I ended up putting my hands on somebody. So ask God for forgiveness. We all fall short of the glory of God. It's hard. It's a hard walk when you walking with the Lord. Things happen, and a couple of things happen. I got attacked with that. I got attacked with an ex-lover. Homosexuality slipped up. Back, this was like later on, not when we were there. 2019 slipped up with an ex-lover. Was disgusted, grossed out. Because when you, that's a whole nother sin. I mean, I know sin is sin and all that, but I had defiled my body and compromised my relationship with God and forfeited my peace. And I messed with a woman, and briefly, and then tore it off. And she knew too that it was never gonna happen again, and it hasn't since that time, 2019. But I did that, and that broke my heart because I love the Lord. I had chose up and I surrendered my life to him, and it was really, really hard for me at that point when I did that because I knew I messed up. It was like sinning against my own body. So being spiritual and being a Christ follower, because I am an ambassador for Christ, and I do represent, I praise dance, I do praise skits and stuff like that. And I had that time, when I did that, I stopped for a period. It lasted a few months, but I had stopped because I couldn't imagine coming forth before the Lord and still kicking it how I was kicking it. So I had to choose up, and I did.
Right.
And so that was the best decision I ever made. So now we're back on, me and him. But yeah, I've been through some challenges.
I want you to, I know this kind of like off topic, but you was just recently there. You said you've been out how long?
Been in prison?
Out.
I got out December 24th, the day before Christmas.
Like literally, right, just yesterday.
4 weeks. Yeah, I just got out 4 weeks ago.
So tell me about my sister.
So I saw Groovy the last time I went to say bye to her, but the last time I saw Groovy was, it was beautiful. I was with her, and I was holding her hand, hugging her, and she did something so beautiful. I don't know if she told you or not, but we brought a gospel fest to her unit because in her unit, so on that whole yard, her unit is we do Bible study there. And 60 people came. So out of 160 people, 60 people came. In our unit, which is the honor dorm, it's like roughly maybe 15, 20 maybe, but 60 people out of 160. And that right there that's a big number, considering where everybody's at right now in prison. Everybody's getting high, OD, and gang banging, still just out there lost. And I left that. I left people out there. I left a lot of people behind that are still caught up, like I was. And so, but I do have to say this. When I left her, it was so beautiful. I held hands with her. I did a praise dance to a song called Forever Jones, called Every Moment. And I did a dance called We Worship You Today by Marvin Sapp. And then I did a praise skit. And in the praise skit, you have to hold hands. Now, I used to have a real bad germ problem. I don't know if you know that or not. I hadn't touched anyone in 8 years at one point. No one I wanted to hug so bad, but I couldn't touch nobody because coming up, they had AIDS patients, and they put them everywhere. They used to be in one unit, and then they just let them go everywhere. And then they had staph infection. You sit on the couch like this, and you get staph infection. Or they at one point had this flesh-eating dope. People, I could see their rawness. And so I developed this germ problem that I had for years and years and years. Your sister, Groovy, she don't touch people either. and I love that about her because we touch each other. Like I'll touch her hands and give her a hug. She always hug me, but she don't touch people. And so I did this praise skit, and and at the end of the praise skit, it was me. I was a convict coming out of prison, and I break my chains to this song called "I Need You to Survive," and by Kirk Franklin. And I come out, and there's an addict, and then there's a couple, abuser, and then there's a cutter, and there's an alcoholic. It's 8 of us. There's an alcoholic, a cutter, a game banger, and a stripper. So when I come out, I go to the addict, and I'm telling her, I need you to survive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I love you. I need you to survive. And so she's not trying to hear me. She's still trying to smoke, because at that time, weed is most prevalent in the prison, so I use weed. At one point, I've done this spray skit for wardens all over, and we've done it and did the needle and all that, because that's what was most prevalent at that time. So we did that, and I go towards this addict, and she's not trying to feel me at all. I almost give up on her, but I go back. She comes. We go get the abuser, and then eventually we get the abuse, and then we all merge off and go get the addict and all the other people. And then after that, the audience don't know we're coming for them. And so I prayed on it, because I didn't want Groovy I wanted her to beat this, to stay. Mm-hmm. And she watched the whole skit. She's going intrigued with this skit. I can tell. I'm looking at her. I can see her. And we go off to the audience and get them. So in this unit, I wish we could have videotaped it, but that entire unit, everybody were holding hands. Everybody, the staff, everybody got involved in this praise skit, because we walked out and we went to go get them. We didn't force nobody. If they rejected us, we went to the next person, but nobody did. It was a big old circle around that entire day room, and Groovy was there holding people's hands she didn't even know. And I walked up to her, we cried and everything. I hugged her. I told her I love her. I told her I was leaving soon, and that was the last time I saw her. But I logged on to her. She's on my tablet, so we're in contact. But that's how I left Groovy. I left Groovy opening up. I left her watching me do a praise dance, watching me do a praise skit, and being involved.
It's hard for you. You have like what they call survivor's guilt. Like, I made it out, and there's people that I know that's still back there, and they still, struggling, or gotta be there, or fighting for their life.
Like, that's exactly how I describe it as survivor's guilt. When I walked out of there, I came out to. My thing is on that FaceTime, and not FaceTime, that, what is it, live stream? They live stream me coming out. It's all on my Facebook and everything. And they live stream me coming out to this song called Break the Shackles Off My Feet by Mary Mary. So I did that. And I went straight to my program and dropped my stuff off, and my cousin came to pick me up, and I went to a hotel for 5 days to decompress, because I couldn't, they were all like, oh, she out. But mind you, when I was in there, my family was us. Yeah. And so, and they were there, not there, estranged and whatever. So when I'm getting to come out, they're like, the smoke is clear now. I went to court, and, my case got vacated and stuff. I'll tell you about that if you want to know. But I come out, and now everybody's like, oh, I want her to put in the pool of me, come pick me up and all that. And then, but then they got mad, because I said, oh, I'm going to a program, though, in L.A. And they was like, you're not coming back to San Diego? Because they had all went to the courtroom and filled the courtroom.
Wait. Hold on.
You let me get past that, huh?
Nope. Because I want you to, like, it's like when a person can talk and then they can go on, but you see something that kind of like, affect them. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to call that out, because like I see it and I understand and I recognize it. So like, I want you to kind of like talk about that for a minute. Like, why you feel guilty? What is it that what do you feel exactly like?
Because we were all in there, and we were all up against it, and we were surviving however we had to survive. Whoever we had to be. You can only pose so long, and we posed, and we became those people, whoever we need to be. Like I told you, I recreated myself. And so we were all in the thick of it, in the storm. Family, come, don't come, whatever they doing out there. But it was us at that time, that present time. Mm-hmm. That's who my family was, and that's who my family is. And so when God opened up a door for me, I walked out, but it was the hardest thing in the world to do. It was the hardest thing. And it's still hard. It was so hard. I didn't know how to walk out of there. And I just felt like the last day we were at church, they was all doing this dance for me, that dance I did coming out of prison. And we were, my friends were right there, all of them, we're all lifers, we all go to church. And just the people, everybody I know, and walking out of there like that and leaving them behind like as if they're not worthy to come to, because I'm not, I changed, and
I did the work. You know, I know I did, but it was by God's grace that I got out of there. There's no other way. I would have never got out because they weren't letting me out through board because of all the 115s and everything I did. And they did the same thing my friends did. So I know it's in God's time. It's in God's time. Everything. And when they say it's in God's time, I'd be like, well, when is this time? I just ask him that. When is your time? Or they say, you next. Next after who? 50 more people. I've been saying that for years. Like, when? Next after 100 more people? I've been asking God because people came before me and left. They left. They came after me and left before me. And so when I would see them, I was never hating, though. I never hated. I used to always be happy for people to leave. But when it became my time to go, all my friends walked me up there. Everybody walked me. My bosses drove me. And they were driving while I was walking. Everybody walked me up there. And I just felt like some of us make it out and some of us don't. I buried a lot of friends there. I didn't bury my pontificate over a lot of services. I had like over 30 friends die there. I brought my obituaries out, my friends that died inside. And so I just felt like some of us make it out, some of us don't. And that quote comes from a friend of mine named Renisha Gully. Her name is Nicole. She made that up. She said, we're going to get tattoos that say some of us made it out. And she's coming, they're on their way out. But I just felt like guilty because, like, dang, man, like, we all need to come out. Me, Miniskirt, all of us. Tiffany Blanchard, all of us need to we all should deserve to come out because they changed. All of us changed. Like, a lot of us, some of them didn't change all the way, but they a lot further, like, they probably not where they should be or where people expect them to be, but they're a lot further than where we were. And I'm still, a work in progress. We're all, daily trying to become the better version of ourselves. And it's just hard, but it was hard to leave them because, and then you got this family out here that's like trying to pull you and tug you who wasn't there. They weren't there, and then my people was there. We all was in there thugging it out, surviving, doing what we had to do. And then my family's like, I want you to come. So I had to go to a hotel to decompress because my family, I left them there. Here, you guys out here are strange, some people that are all divided and everything waiting on me. And then, but God he's reconciling that now. He's even restoring that back because now my family's coming together. But, aside from that in there, this is happening now. Now it's cool because he's using me for some reason. Everybody's coming together. Yeah. And they all came to court. They're all, going to have a yacht party. They're all going to be there. And, we having a family reunion, so we all going to be there. But before them, I left them, my family. Yeah. And
it's like the moment that should be like the happiest moment for you.
It was happy. It was bittersweet because I was walking out to leave and we don't know if we ever gonna see each other again. That's the hard part. Like when you walk out of there, I know Tiffany on her way, she finna go to board, and I know that a couple of them are on their way out, Nicole and them, but I've had friends that was on their way out and one actually paroled that morning and died that morning. Like people, I don't know. I just know that tomorrow's not promised and they on their way out, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know if I would ever get out. I said I was, though, because you're supposed to. Yeah. I was like, I know I'm going to get out one day. You know what I'm saying? God going to let me out of here. I said that, but I wasn't living like I was going to get out. I wasn't living like I was going to get out because every day I was doing everything to stay, it seemed, until, I got saved. But every day I was just survive. You have to survive. It's not about that. My sister said that. She said, why didn't you, the first few years you were there, but in 7 years, you should have been out of there smart as you are. They don't even know, though. She never been there. When you get there, you say you're going to get out or you want to get out, but life start happening, things happen, and then you got to survive. Like,
that's a whole nother world.
Yeah, I had to survive. I went in high school. I was in high school when I went in there, and
so it was an early time for you.
And I'm 52, and I had to survive. I had to survive, because my mom wasn't there. She's here, she's alive, but my mom wasn't in there with me, and that's who, I lived with my mom, and she did everything, so I didn't know how to drive. Yeah, I didn't know how to drive. I didn't have anything. She had my social security card, you know what I mean? Birth certificate, she held on that for 34 years. She just gave it to me and everything.
So, right now we're gonna get ready to like wrap it up, but you know, it's your time to talk to somebody. So specifically, I want you to talk to the women that's still in there, like your, you know, your peoples. You know, like talk to them. And this your camera right here.
Okay, so I'm sorry for crying, you guys.
That's all good.
So, the only, well, for my people inside, I'm coming back. I'm coming up in there. I'll be there real soon. I'm coming in there to do board prep, and I'm coming in there for Healing Dialogue and Action, and I'm coming in there for a Gospel Fest. Excuse me. I'll be in there for a Gospel Fest in July this year. So I'm coming back, and I'm coming back because I need you guys out. I need you out here with me. Because it's a fast-paced moving world out here. And technology, man, it's off the hook. I haven't got so many job offers, but that tech savvy is what they need out here. And so I'm going to a digital literacy class, and I'm getting gamed up on all that, but that's what you're going to need out here. You'll need that. But just for people, just get out of there. You have to get out. You have to choose up. You have to surrender all. I had to surrender all I had to, because I would have died in there. I was already dying. So I wanted to live. And so I chose up. I chose Christ. And it's not just a thing where people, I know they say, everybody go there, oh, you a Muslim now, or they choose up and they try to go to church just to get out of there. It's not about that. I have an intimate relationship with God today. I needed this peace that you can't get unless you surrender your life to God. I needed to give myself a chance to stop holding myself hostage, because that's what I did. I held myself hostage up in there, you know, staying in that place, thinking that, getting comfortable with sissy and brother. I didn't call anybody that, but that's what we think. We get this family up in there, and you forget you have a family out here. You have children out here. You have grandchildren out here. You have a mom. You have a dad. You have sisters. You have brothers out here. You have cousins. I have so many cousins. I have so many family members I did not know. And I would have never known them because I was so caught up in there thinking that was living, and that wasn't living. So get out. Get out of there. Surrender your life to God. Do whatever you need to do. But you choose up and separate yourself from the people in there that's still doing the same thing and not trying to change. Because change is happening. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So that's all I can say to everybody in there. It's just, and even out here, you know, I've had, I do have to say this with the organization that I'm involved with, ARC. Everybody in there has been to prison, so they understand my walk and where I've been. So I acclimated nicely, because I'm pretty sure I have the struggles and the, you know, challenges and stuff that's going to come. But for now, it's been lovely. It's wonderful out here. God is good. I love life. I love the love. I love people. And it's beautiful out here.
Yeah, well, thank you. We most definitely like appreciate that. And just like to top it off, like that survivor's guilt is a mother, you know.
Yeah.
But it's all right. It's just, you know, some of the things that people face. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like that's the.
I think that was the hardest thing for me.
It's like it's yeah.
That was the hardest thing for me.
Yeah.
The survivor's guilt, just making it out and they're leaving everybody behind. It's like a soldier in war, and the whole platoon die or get killed or blown up or whatever, and they make it out. So, and that's how I felt.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have to get out in order to help them get out. Like if they see us get out and do what you're doing, sitting here how you doing, just making this platform for us, I think it's just phenomenal, because it takes people like you to get out, because each one teach one. Mm-hmm. So when you get out and you do what you're doing, and then I have a podcast one day, you know what I mean? Or go into the prison, do whatever I'm doing. Yeah. And then, you know, you make a way for others. Because I love what you're doing. I'm just so proud of you. It's phenomenal what you're doing. That I never thought, I didn't know this is what you do. And I thought I saw you rapping too on the thing, but he did say, I'm sorry, everybody told me, but she did. Your sister said you had a podcast. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for you, and I'm really proud of you, and I thank you for doing this and making this possible for us to be able to reach back inside and let the people out here know that we coming.
Yeah,
because we coming.
Cindy, take us home. All right, you guys. So that was a really good good interview today. So we're gonna go ahead and close out. But again, this is Take a Look Inside Truth. So stay tuned for next episode. Thank you.
Is it? Thank you.